Learn here in Rogue Kitchen. We learn by playing with our food. It's Rogue Kitchen Live. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks again for joining us. Today is our first live, right?
Yeah, in this space.
Season.
Yeah. It took us a little while to get everything set up, but I think we're getting a little more comfortable.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah. So let us know if there's anything.
Yeah, so today we've got a very special guest on next. Now
So
is Paula on already, or do we need to call her back? Do we need to?
I'm here.
Oh, she's here. Very good. All right.
I don't know if you can see me.
All right.
Hi, everybody. My name is Paula Thomas, and I am the ProStart Colorado coordinator. So welcome to the Rogue Kitchen. I am really grateful to Jimi and Jason for joining us today, or for inviting us today into their kitchen to talk about beans.
Yeah, no problem. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. So, Jimi, we've got some diced onions and some chopped garlic going here. So we're about on like a medium heat here. Is that right?
Yeah, so medium heat. We're gonna saute the onions and garlic. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and throw in the peppers and celery too, just kind of all at once. We don't want to go too hard on the saute here. We're not trying to caramelize anything. Just a light sweat until everything kind of gets a little translucent. All right, so Paula, what do you like most about beans? Or tell us about your passion for, or whatever with beans.
So beans are about 80% of what I eat. I am not a vegetarian, but I eat a lot of beans. I grew up in Colombia, and beans were a huge part of our diet. So it's something that I carry everywhere, wherever I go. Traveling, I usually try to cook beans. I love the fact that they are very healthy for you. They're good for your gut. They're good to give you lots of protein. They have a lot of fiber, and then good carbohydrates for the brain. They're also very healthy for the earth, because beans have a lot of, they do what farmers call fixed nitrogen into the soil, meaning, for example, if you have squashes and corn in your garden, they love to eat the nitrogen from the soil. So you put beans right around that, and then the beans will give nitrogen to that. So for example, in the southwest of the United States and in Mexico, northern Mexico, they will call these the three sisters, because they kind of go together. And in Mexico, they call it la milpa. So you would have beans, corn, squash, we threw some peppers and tomatoes in there as well. But the beans are very, very important for that. And then farmers also use them to help the soil just get healthier. They absorb a lot of carbon from the atmosphere. So that's another way of seeing the good of beans. And they're super versatile. You can cook with them any kind of meal. You can make it as easy and chill as, tacos, or as we can make salads with it. You can make stews for like a nice winter stew. You can use beans for many different things. Pair them with mushrooms, or if you want to make it a meat dinner, then you can put in some chicken or some ham, as this succotash is going to have at the end. So I can't talk enough about beans. I love them.
That's great, Paula. Yeah, I really like. I like the environmental aspect of beans. How beans provide nitrogen for other crops, and how they benefit other crops and stuff. So I think that's really, really great. But you're right. Yeah, beans are very, very versatile. Do you have a favorite bean, Paula, by chance? Do you have a?
I love the flavor of black beans, especially when it has a little bit of kick, like a little bit of spice. I don't eat super spicy food, but a little bit of that. But then I also love just white beans. And then I've grown really excited about mayacoba beans, which is a Peruvian bean, and then you find it here in Colorado as well. It's a little yellow bean. It's absolutely creamy and delicious, and is perfect for many, many dishes.
We had some one of our basic skills classes had, or a couple of them actually, had a bean cooking competition back in the fall, and with that we got some of those Mayakoba beans from the Colorado Bean Council, and I'd never cooked with those before, and so I would definitely like to try to cook with those, but I like how you described it, they're creamy, so that's definitely good to know there. But so should we talk about the cooking competition at all, or what?
Yeah, Paula, do you want to explain to the ProStart students?
Okay, my ProStart team. So because here the Rogue Kitchen team, they're showing us how to cook beans. They're using the Instapot, but if you want to use a pressure cooker, you soak your beans the night before and then get those beans cooking in the pressure cooker, and then you have your base for any dish possible that you can think of, or looking at the internet and find ideas. So your challenge, and you're welcome to join us in this, is to create 2 dishes with one kind of bean. Minimum 2 dishes. If you create more than that, great. But if you say, okay, I'm going to go with white beans or pinto beans or whichever of these beans, and then you have to create minimum 2 dishes. You will write the recipe and then show us how to cook it. And those 2 of the students who will win will go into the Rogue Kitchen to cook the recipe with Jimi and Jason. So it's your turn. I'm going to send all of the information together with this video about the contest, and I look forward to receiving all your recipes and videos and photos, and I'm super excited to wait to eat your recipes.
Paula, for the students, so again, it's, as Paula mentioned before, beans are very versatile. So if you could do maybe, so let's say you take like a white navy bean, right? You soak those overnight. The next day, you could do 2 different. You could cook them in your pressure cooker, with 2 different sets of spices, right? So you could do like a barbecue spice, and then you could do some vinegar, maybe some brown sugar or something like that, to where you've got like kind of like a Southampton or like a Boston baked bean, basically. You kind of have that flavor, right? And then you could do like an Italian, like a Tuscan bean. You got some garlic and some red pepper flake in there, and maybe some oregano or something like that. You turn that into a soup, right? Or you could turn that into a succotash, which is what Jimmy's doing today, right? You could do some black eyed peas, all kinds of different things that you could do with the black beans there, or with any kind of bean there, right? So again, 1 bean, 2 different dishes, and then so Paula, who's gonna, if you can disclose this, who's gonna kind of be on the committee or the group to pick?
Well, I will receive all of those, and then I will share them with YouTube, with Jimi and Jason. And then we would, kind of say, oh, well, this one sounds really exciting, or depending on, on how you present your dishes, then that would definitely kind of bring you into the preliminary last round. And at that point, I'll make sure that the Rogue Kitchen team sees the finalists, and then we'll together choose those who did the best, who put all of their, all their efforts and creativity on making the best possible presentation for their dishes.
All right, very good. So we'll be on that group.
Yeah,
picking.
So the winner gets to come down and film here with us on Rogue Kitchen. We'll probably actually go down into our kitchens, right?
Yeah, we will definitely go down to our kitchens for that.
Yep. So for your ProStart students out there, it'll be a great opportunity to come have some fun on campus with us, see what we do in our kitchens and see our commercial kitchens. If you haven't already, because I know, a couple of years ago we were bringing students through, and so I think a lot of you out there in ProStart haven't been to our facility yet. So this will be a really cool opportunity to get in here and have some fun with us, and see what we do here in the School of Hospitality at Metropolitan State University of Denver.
Definitely, yeah.
All right, so quick question for the 2 of you. What's the most unique thing you've seen done with beans?
The most unique thing I've seen done with beans.
I'll go first.
Okay.
So, fried chickpeas.
Fried chickpeas. Okay.
Yeah, and I mean a chickpea is a legume, and so I kind of
Yeah.
qualify that in the same. You know, they're legumes.
Yeah.
But they're like you take chickpeas and throw them in the fryer, and then toss them with some seasoning. You can do like a curry seasoning or Cajun spice or something, and they're just delicious, crunchy little nuggets.
Now, and to be clear, those are like
Cooked.
Cooked.
Yeah, canned. Usually just canned. You could cook
Yeah.
them first and then dry them out and
Yeah,
then throw
yeah,
them in the
okay.
fire. But
yeah. Now I've done that same thing with the air fryer at home. I've done crispy chickpeas in the air fryer.
oh,
So,
nice.
but you know they don't. It's not quite. Oh, look
Oh.
at that!
Beans are done.
Instapot's done.
We're gonna let them do what's called a. So, when it comes to pressure cookers and instant pots, there's a quick release or a quick pressure release where you just hit the valve and let the air come out. Then there's a natural pressure release. We're gonna let this do what's called a natural pressure release, where it actually kind of cools down and the pressure kind of comes back down for a few more minutes, and then we'll check on them, and then we'll kind of toss them in here. So what I have going in the pan, you know, we did the celery, onions, and bell peppers, and we got that sauteed with the garlic. Then I threw in the corn, and so we have that all ready to go. And we're pretty much where we want to be to add the beans. And so as soon as those are done, we'll check on the tenderness of those and then toss them in here and cook it. And then we'll finish with a little bit of heavy cream and a little bit of that cane vinegar. As we always do, we're always doing seasoning as we go. So every time I add something, I'm just adding just a tiny bit of salt just to draw out all those moistures and make sure that you get all the flavors combining into one. So I'm gonna cut this heat for a little bit until we got those beans.
Should we get a little picture there of the,
Yeah.
if we can?
Can we go to the camera too?
Should we go to camera two here?
Steve, our director back there.
There we go. Look at that.
All right, give an awkward pan to Steve over there. Oh, he's gonna cut it off before you get to him.
There's
All right.
Steve. Oh, he cut it off. All right.
All right, but I'm, you know, for the sake of time, I'm gonna check in on these. And so the pressure release is back here, and then there's a button where you can just press it and it opens up the valve, and let's see now. This is how we're gonna polish our glasses. We're gonna steam the glasses up here and then get a polishing cloth, right? Have some steamed glasses. Well, that's releasing. Paula, is there anything else you want to talk about in relation to beans or anything else today?
Well, I was thinking about the question that you asked, the most inventive things. And I think that different cultures around the world just use beans in different ways. For example, Asian cultures, places, countries like China, North Korea, Vietnam, Taiwan, Japan, they use beans in sweet dishes. So they will have sweet paste. They'll do this as steam buns with like a black bean sweet paste inside, which is really something I didn't know before. And so when I first tried those, I was like, whoa, wait a minute, these are beans? So that I thought was completely innovative, the fact that they use beans for that. So obviously if we like tofu, that's from soybeans. We don't normally eat soybeans by themselves, but unless they are, fresh. But there's a lot of ways in which cultures have just gone down the bean route. So you were mentioning chickpeas, and in the Mediterranean, chickpeas are used heavily. They would make chickpea flour, and then depending on which parts of different countries you are, you will find different cakes, or they can be fried, like little fritters, or they can be baked. So you will find farinata in Italy. You would find, let me see this other, the one in Liguria. I forgot the one in Liguria. But anyway, so different ones in different places, because beans are just very sustainable. They sustain you. They are easier to grow. They're inexpensive in a way. So they can fulfill huge amounts of, fulfill you and fulfill your pockets. and then be very creative with it. So again, cannot speak about beans anymore because I just love them. And that's why I want to bring this contest to the ProStart students so that they can just go down the rabbit hole of beans and produce some amazing recipes.
Yeah, very good. You know, Paula, you were talking about chickpea pea flour there. I've seen pinto bean flour. In fact, we have some downstairs in our pantry. Just not sure how to use it. But that is definitely something that I'm gonna, you know, learn how to do or figure out how to is using pinto bean flour. So that should be very interesting. So. All right, Jimmy. So we've got some liquid here that we're pouring off of our beans. Are we gonna keep any of that liquid, or
for the sake of today, no. I don't think we have any use for it right now.
Okay.
So I'm gonna just kind of drain this off, and we're gonna get this into the succotash, and then we'll be about done.
Okay.
But yeah, so 20 minutes, a little bit of pressure release, nice and tender, not too soft. You don't want them mushy for this. If they turn out mushy,
Yeah.
then you just end up with like a bean paste. Which, continuing on what you were saying, Paula, one of my favorite dishes is, or treats from the Asian market is a sesame ball with red bean paste in it. It's like a sweet red bean paste.
That is really good.
And that's always really good.
Yeah, that's pretty good stuff.
So to the pan, as everything's finishing sauteing, I'm going to add the cane vinegar to deglaze. And that's just going to kind of release anything that did stick to the pan. We were on a pretty medium to low heat, so we're not getting a lot of caramelization, but anything that is there is just going to help us kind of clean up that pan and get the fond if there is any. And then we'll go ahead and add our beans. And our succotash is just about ready. So to the cooked corn and veggies, you know, we kind of sweat those out and we get a nice flavor from all of that. But then we want a little bit of a fresh flavor. So we're gonna add some fresh green onions and just kind of toss that in there.
Yum.
Let it cook a little bit.
Now, Jimmy, would you add like any butter maybe too to kind of?
Yeah, you can add some butter to finish it.
Yeah.
You know, if I was at home, I'd just reach back into my fridge and grab some butter, but we'll get this all stocked so we can get innovative and play around here a little bit more.
Yeah.
But that is just about ready. Last thing we're gonna do is we're gonna finish it off with just a touch of heavy cream.
Oh man.
And so similar to adding butter, this will just kind of give it that nice richness in your mouth a little bit. And we're just gonna add just maybe a quarter cup or so.
All right.
And let that kind of cook down.
That kind of coats them a little bit there, and like Jimmy said, adds a little bit of richness to it. But then also because of that fat and that heavy cream, it gives a really pleasant mouthfeel as well. So,
All right, and I guess can we cut back over to that camera 2? And here's our red bean succotash.
Oh, look at that, man! It's just like it's clean.
All right,
It's delicious.
we could
Season it up. Oh, string went blank there on us. Is she still with us?
Paula, can you still hear us?
Yep,
My
I'm
computer
here.
Turned off.
Computer went to sleep there. So.
All right.
All right.
So yeah, and then I'm gonna give this a little taste. This feels like home.
Yeah, right. With flatware right underneath.
I mean, it needs a little salt
Some salt there.
and a little Cajun seasoning, but
A little bit of spice or something. So, yeah.
yeah, so a little cayenne, a little salt, a little pepper. And just kind of season it to how you want. If you like it spicy, put more cayenne or use a Creole seasoning, and you can spice that up as much as you want. At home, I use Crystal hot sauce
Oh boy.
on almost everything because it's got a nice vinegar flavor to it. And so I add that to anything Cajun that I'm making.
Yeah.
I just top it off with Crystal and cane vinegar.
Yeah. I like Frank's Red Hot, but Crystal is definitely a very popular hot sauce and very delicious hot sauce as well. So,
All right.
but,
So one other thing, I'm gonna ask you to run downstairs and grab a nitrous cartridge.
oh yeah,
And I'll start
we got a very a really fun cocktail today, don't we?
Yep. So
Alright.
this is gonna be it for the succotash. And like I said, we're gonna add some tasso for the folks who want some meat to it later. But while Jason goes and grabs that cartridge, what we're gonna do is, what we have here is my new favorite toy as of late, and that's a whipped cream canister, which we're gonna use to do a Nitro Cafe Olay, chilled, cold brew. So we have some coffee that we made this morning that we've been chilling in the fridge. To that, we're going to add, not heavy cream, that might be too much. We're going to add a little bit of half and half. And then we're going to charge it with nitrous oxide as soon as Jason gets back here. And then we'll have a nice Nitro Cold Brew Cafe Olay. And so for right now, we're doing mocktails here until we start getting some of our bar built up. And then we'll do some recorded cocktail videos at home, like our last one.
Here you go.
All right. So to the coffee and cream, we're going to charge it. And with this size of a canister, we're actually going to do 2.
What kind of a glass would you like there? Jimmy?
Let's do.
You want to do a coffee cup? One of the small ones?
No, I want to be able to see it. So let's do a. Actually, let's grab that lager glass up there.
This one right here.
Right there.
Okay.
All right. So one more charge.
There we go. While you're doing that, I'm gonna sneak a taste here.
Yeah. Tell me what you think. All right.
Here.
We're gonna let that sit a little bit, and then fingers crossed. I tried it out earlier; it did work, but we're gonna slowly pour this into here.
Oh. Looks like a Guinness.
Oh, too much. There we go. Let me do it up here so you can see. Yeah, and so it'll,
That's pretty neat.
because it's charged with the nitrogen, it's gonna settle like a Guinness.
Oh, look at that. Yeah, it's like a Guinness. That's pretty cool.
There we go. Let's cut to that camera 2 again. Show you. You can see it's just like doing a nitro on a tap, and it's all going to settle down. Probably a little too much head, so we'll let it settle and we'll do another one. But it'll have a nice mouthfeel to it, because when you use nitrous, the bubbles are smaller than CO2. CO2, the bubbles are bigger, but because of the size of nitrous oxide, it makes really fine bubbles, which gives you a really cool mouthfeel. And just a cool way to do a cold brew coffee. So
Very good.
I'll go ahead and top that off. But is there anything else we want to talk about today, Jason?
No, not that I can think of. Yeah, no, not that I can think of. Other than I just want to thank Paula for coming on today.
Yeah, thank you so much,
joining us.
Paula.
Thank Lily again for coming on and joining us. But with that, yeah, we're really looking forward to these recipes from our ProStart students. Of course, then we'll definitely look forward to hang out with them on Road Kitchen and watching them cook and stuff. So that will definitely be fun. So Paula, thank you so much for being on today. And other than
Thank
that,
you.
I think that's about it. And then we've got some saute
Yeah,
or some
I talked
tasso
about it while
ham.
you were running.
Oh, you did already. Okay, that's one thing that I missed. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us today. Truly appreciate you being with us. Until then, or until next time, see you later.